I mean, kind of in a roundabout way, kind of was at this point in my life where I was just like, is this it? Like, wake up, eat, sleep, work, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, you better. Cause you want this, I want this. Everybody in this world should have it. Stop illusions, it's in your hands. Show yourself, reveal it to them. Yeah, you better. Take the time to recognize it. You won't leave me even if I tried it. You're the artist, I'm the mess, and happily perform the new in your hands.
Welcome, everybody, to Unlimited with Elisabeth Carson. And this is the podcast where nothing is off limits, okay? Everything is talked about, everything is touched. And this episode is going to be a little bit different, guys. I have my great friend, Amy. Dr. Amy, welcome to the Unlimited podcast with Elisabeth Carson. It's so good to see you again, Amy.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honored to be here.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes, me too. Me too. This is the first time that me and you have talked since we went to 40 Years of Zen, Dave Asprey program. And, you know, this experience was deeply, deeply personal and very, very healing for me. And I know that you probably had that same experience because we were in the same group. So they split us into two groups and we got to go through the program together. So yes, Amy, what brought you to 40 Years of Zen, even to begin with?
You know, I mean, kind of in a roundabout way, kind of was at this point in my life where I was just like, is this it? Like, wake up, eat, sleep, work, rinse, repeat. And I was like, there has got to be more. And I grew up in a Christian background and I just didn't really see anything different with even the Christian, you know, that I knew. And I was like, there's got to be something. I mean, is this all that there is? And so I was on Mind Valley app and the CEO of Mind Valley was talking about 40 Years of Zen. And I was like, you know, I feel, and before that, I had started to kind of touch into some of this stuff, like just that we are infinite and we are limitless and that we have so much more potential and, you know, union with source or God, like it blew the doors open for me. So this was my next step. And I was like, all right, I've got to go. I feel like this is it. And it ended up being something that I really didn't even expect, but it was amazing all the same. I mean, it was still like, I use the stuff that I learned there almost every day. So, yeah.
Yes, me too. You know, it was really interesting, Amy. I remember you saying that you were doing a Joe Dispenza meditation or something, and you had manifested something great. And this was like the next thingy for you. Is that kind of what led you to 40 years? Can you talk about that experience?
Yeah. So really, my whole journey was just about who we are. And when we're connected to the source, which, you know, there's lots of names for that. I call it God, people call it universe, source, whatever. There is no limit as to what you can do. So once you get a hold of that and you really get a hold of it in your core, it's like you're not trying to manifest stuff out of lack. Like, oh, I want $1 million because I don't have it. It's like, I have everything that I need inside me. And from that, I started manifesting and just crazy things started happening, things that I wasn't even trying to do. A job that I had almost walked away from through a series of weird events. I ended up staying, making a lot more money. It was just stuff that it's like, okay, you can't orchestrate this. You can't make this shit up.
When you were doing the visualizations or however you would manifest, what was your process?
Yeah, so I would so I do the whole, you know, calm your mind. I don't know what kind of meditations you do. There's a Twa Bohu meditation that I really like, and it's just moving your energy through and you just don't really think about anything. I mean, that's kind of the point, into this void. And I really think it just kind of calms your brain down into this probably alpha or theta state. And then once you're there, it's like trying to stay awake. That's the tricky part, because a lot of times I'll just fall asleep. But after you do that, then I start with like mantras, like I am, and then whatever it is that, I'm working on or that I want to believe. I am immortal. I am abundant. I am peace. And I feel like, once you start doing that, it's not just chanting it. It's not just saying the words. It's like feeling it and feeling the gratitude for it. And so I stopped asking for things. I just started saying, I am so grateful that I have this. And then that's really when it all started to work. I think it's so much about gratitude and forgiveness, as we did in 40 Years of Zen, because it just gets you into this place where you're open. So I feel like that's really key.
Yes, yes. No, I agree. I agree. That type of meditation, when I teach people to get into the gap and really try to manifest, it's like the emotion and the feeling. You have to have that deep inner knowing and that feeling. And then that just extends this energy that just, goes to the universe and comes back to you. And that's really how you manifest. It's really embodying that as if it already was. And once you get there,
because it is
remembrance.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I feel like that is the key. That's the shift. You're not manifesting from, I don't have it, but I really want it. So I'm just going to imagine and pretend. It's like, once you know that it's all within you, then it's a different shift. It's there. It's like, and that's what connects us all. And that's what flows. And I feel like it kind of explains everything. It's like, oh, you give what you get. Well, yeah, because you're creating your reality. You're creating your, you set your intentions and it all flows back to you.
Exactly. Exactly. You know what? I was so excited to get to 40 years because I was going through some ups and downs in my personal life. And I just felt like this deep need to do something to clear whatever was going on in my life up. And so I chose to go to 40 years. I think I pulled the trigger maybe a week or two before it was actually scheduled, because before then I was just like, no, I'm going to wait. And, we're so busy. I'm going to wait until May or something and do it then. But it's something deep inside of me was like, no, pull the trigger. You need to go now. And we went, and, I met you, Amy, on day one. I was so nervous. What was day one like for you? Tell me.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the show Nine Perfect Strangers with Nicole Kidman, but that's what I felt like I was walking into. It's like, what is going to happen? It's actually a great show, but I was kind of nervous too, just because I was like, what did I just sign up for? Like, what are we going to do?
Right.
I love how immersive it is, how it's everything from what you eat to all of the biohacking tools, the physical part of it, and then the actual meditations, and then the debriefing, all of it. I feel like it's such a good comprehensive. My only complaint is just that it's not accessible to everyone. That's the unfortunate part, but it is such a great program.
Man, it's amazing. When we got there, I didn't know what to expect either. But you know what? It's like the energy. So even at the place, that's one of the first things I noticed, the energy of the building, and just being there was so calming. It was almost like you were just stepping into, I don't know, stepping out of technology and going into Zen. That's what it felt like.
Yeah.
The energy.
And just breaking from your phones. Just that alone was like, this feels so good for a week.
Oh my God, it was really good. And you know what? I wish we could even go back to, not the crazy part of COVID, but the time where everything shut down and we didn't have to do anything at all for weeks, because there was nothing.
Yes.
I just think that is like a good break for our souls. Like, we need those rests. We need time to rest, especially
100%.
Especially as a doctor. Amy, you're a doctor. Your life probably is like just so crazy.
Right now, I feel like I'm getting a million things thrown at me, but I do feel like that's where this 40 Years of Zen comes in, where you just, you deep down, you dive deep, and you just sit with yourself and you connect and you recharge. I mean, for me, like, I feel like that's what keeps me sane some days. I'm like, okay, you know what? Me getting all worked up in a tizzy is okay. I'm connected to source. I'm connected to God. I'm okay. The kingdom of heaven is within me. Like, I feel like I can do anything when I'm in that place. And when you forget, you've got to go back. And then you're like, okay, it's okay. Everything's okay.
You're giving me chills.
Remember the exercise that he did with us when he was like, pull the parachute?
Oh my
like,
God.
How bad can it be? And I was like, oh, it's so good.
That was amazing. Amazing. There were so many different tools that they gave us, tools and mechanisms to be able to take and leave and continue to do the work at home, which is also something I really, really appreciated about the program. Is they don't just run you through it and then send you on your way. No, you go home with all of these different practical things that you can do on your own. And then they actually coach you even in sessions afterwards, which is extremely helpful. Extremely.
Yes. It's been really good for him to like just kind of check in, and you just kind of are like, okay, here I am. And I did tell him, I was like, man, I feel like I'm, running 100 miles an hour, 7 days a week. And he was just like, okay, let's talk through this. Like, remember your stuff. And I was like, okay, yes, I do.
Well, let's talk about this stuff. So let's talk about, one of the resets. They call it resets. And this reset. So what they're doing, guys, is it's actually rewiring your brain. So your brain, if you think about, this popcorn over here smells amazing. And your whole life is like, this popcorn smells amazing. This popcorn smells amazing. It brings that good mood into you because your brain has connected those neural connections about the popcorn. And you're like, I love popcorn, right? So what the resets do is, let's say the popcorn gives you bad feelings or something, is the resets will help you undo those, reactions so you can rewire new patterns. So that's literally pretty much what we did, Amy, isn't it? I mean, it's so profound.
Yes. I mean, absolutely. And, there is science behind it too. And it's all the neuroplasticity. This was ketamine assisted. So the ketamine isn't really just for fun and games. It creates that neuroplasticity to help you change some of these just loops.
Patterns, yes.
Bad loops, bad patterns, bad whatever. I mean, a lot of it was about relationships and, where things went wrong. Maybe it was back in your past. Maybe it was with a current relationship, whatever it was. It was all the same process of resetting, forgiving, moving on, creating love in that space, so that you aren't so triggered by that person or that memory or that thing. And it can go deep trauma. I remember the first day he was like, don't go deep. And then I just went,
you went
completely deep.
Deep. Oh, you went all the way deep. Because I was like, wow. But it was so profound, Amy. It was so profound what you experienced on that first day. Have you noticed changes in your life from just having that realization? And I don't know if you want to talk about it, but you had a grand realization that I know probably affects you now, even.
Yeah, it was regarding my father, and it's kind of this weird thing, honestly, because it was just a thing where I've had a strained relationship with my father, and it was I went back. Actually, that wasn't a reset, but it was like when I went back as we did the inner child work.
Yeah.
And it took me back, and I was doing, fishing and setting off rockets with my dad. And it was the realization that I had harbored this thing where I always thought he wanted a boy. Mm-hmm. And it was my aha moment that it was like, my dad is just super nerdy and into rockets and into all of these sciencey things. And he was just doing, what he loved with me. And it broke a dam in me. I was bawling. Mm-hmm. It was pretty powerful. And the crazy thing is like, I knew that there was always a block between my father and I, my relationship, but I didn't know that was, it was so deep that I didn't even have access to it. So it was really wild, but it was also really great. And I feel like it just opens you up to like love those people where you always have resistance before, where you're like, yeah, I love you, you're my dad, but there's always a but.
Walls. You have those
Yeah.
walls of
Walls.
protection, and it's
Yeah.
because you felt wronged by these people. So you grow these walls. And what the resets help you do is take down the walls and then have empathy and understanding for the people, which is so profound.
Right.
I mean, can we walk through one? So
Yeah.
when you reset, you basically, what is the first step? You grab your higher power or whatever it is that represents what a higher power means to you. And it was so weird. The first one that came to me was Hathor, Hathor, the god of fertility in Egypt. And I'm like, why is this my higher power? But I'm gonna go with it. So you bring in your higher power, and then you create your space wherever you are at, right? And it's just what comes to you, right, Amy? I'm pretty sure it's just, yes, what comes to you. So
if you remember, like mine was Twinkle or Tinkerbell. Like I was like, why?
Cricket.
I was like, all right, I'm just gonna roll with it.
Yes. It's what your subconscious brings up. So guys, basically what you do is you go into these pods, you go into deep meditation, you do neurofeedback to keep your brain in whatever state you would, you want to be at, where this program was all about alpha, retraining subconscious patterns. So they try to keep your brain in an alpha state while you're in neurofeedback, while you're doing these resets. So you're really going in there to rewire. And you're talking basically to your subconscious. So after you get your atmosphere, wherever you're supposed to be at, you got your higher self, then you bring in your person. And that was what was fun for me, because I would just sit a chair there, Amy, and whatever my subconscious would bring up, it would just be right there.
Yes.
Land in the chair. You too?
Yeah. I had some that I was like, oh, okay, we're going to talk about my first grade teacher. I didn't really even know I had anything. Then I was like, oh, yeah, I did. It was wild. Yeah.
You can access such deeper parts of yourself by, I think,
yes,
it had to be ketamine. It had to be, neurofeedback. It had to be the food and just everything that we were doing. I think that they knew that this is going to get your subconscious blasted open, right?
Yeah. You just get so much more open. Yeah.
Yes.
And even more so as the week goes on, because I think you get more and more open.
Yes.
But then by Wednesday, you're like, let's go.
All the way. And by day 4, I think I was beating the crap out of whoever fell in my chair. I remember I was beating the crap out of that person. I was going at them, because basically what you're doing is you're reprogramming whatever they did. So they land in the chair and then you charge them, right? You charge.
Yes.
So that's when I was beating up the people, like, bow, bow, bow. I was charging my people as you get all of that emotion out, right? And you hold on to that negative emotion, which was hard. This is something hard, because your brain automatically wants to get out of pain. So you'll start like daydreaming. You might fall asleep. But that charge, you have to hold it, I think, 2 to 4 minutes. Yep. And then you have to find the gift, right? Is it find the gift next? Yes. So find the gift of the situation so you can have appreciation and empathy for the situation. And then you have to get to love, and you have to feel that love and
forgiveness.
Yes. Love and forgiveness. Yes. I really noticed that during this reset process, though, what really helped me forgive was to find the gift within the whole situation, which really helped me forgive the people, because it's hard to forgive when you're wrong, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why if it didn't work the first time, which I had a lot of trouble that first day, he was like, then you ask your guide, am I done?
Yeah.
And if they're like, nope, you go back and you do it again and you do it again.
Yes.
And I mean, some of those I feel like we were doing 2 and 3 times before, we got to where we needed to be. But by the end, you do have a difference. And I mean, because you feel the love finally. I mean, you're working it out until you really do feel those feelings.
Yes.
So it's not just like, I forgive you, I'm running. Yes. It's like, it's all here. It's all feeling it from here. So
you have to go deep. I mean, this program, if you really push yourself, and really go deep with this program, you'll get massive results afterwards. So you said that profound moment about your dad that you had after a reset, or after the inner child work that you did. Have you noticed how that's shown up in your life afterwards? or have you noticed how some of the resets have shown up in your life?
I feel like, I mean, I still talk, I don't talk to my dad very much, but I'm not triggered by him. Like when I see a text, I'm not, it was just so much resistance. And I know that that is gone.
Mm-hmm.
And with some of the other people too, that were probably more recent or more, current, that for sure. Because I have run into them and it's like, it's wild. It's not like I necessarily feel love for some of them, but I just don't feel anything.
Triggered.
And so it's nice because it's like, this is such a change. It's so new. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love that.
Yeah. The reactions are less. The reactions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And not that you don't get them. I think that's the beautiful part of this. Yeah. It's a journey. So like if you find yourself triggered, it's like, okay. And you can go back and do another reset. I mean, like I need to work on this. I'm still getting triggered by this person. And so even at home now, I mean, it's really easy to do, to just be like, all right, I'm going to state my charge. Like, let's go. Let's get this out. Yeah. And I love it. Because it works.
It does. There's something deep, even without the ketamine, even without the neurofeedback, it still works. I've done a couple resets since I've been, since 40 years, I've done a couple resets. I need to do about 1,000, a million, more, but I'll be doing resets for the rest of my life. No, but it was good. Okay. Let's talk about ketamine because I was terrified. You remember? I was so scared. Yeah. I was like, I don't know about this. I was like,
and then the funny thing is how we were all so different as far as our tolerances.
Yes.
I feel like they do a really good job of preparing you for that. And I think that's probably why, because that first dose was like, what in the world have I just done? Like, what is happening right now? And I think they probably know you're going to think that.
So funny. Yours had me die. I was laughing so hard. Your ketamine experiences had me really, really, really laughing. I was like really laughing at them.
They were wild, but I do feel like it is your subconscious because when you're out of it and then we were talking about it later, it's like, oh yeah, that totally, came out of the depths of me. That totally checks on some weird level.
Right. No, yeah. It was deep. I mean, so the first day or the second day, I think it's day 2, they give you your big dose. And that's when you go in and you do the whole experience. That's more like a psychedelic type experience. And it was cool for me, but you remember, Amy? So my tolerance is retarded. I didn't really have an experience. I maybe was gone maybe 3 minutes. And I came right back and I was sitting there. I was like, I was like, is anything going to happen to me? Is it over? And I guess I just sat there for the rest of the time. So my tolerance is crazy because everybody else was gone.
Like, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about what happened to you, Amy, and what you saw?
Well, I mean, for me, are you talking about the first time that we did it or?
Yes.
Yeah, it was wild. Like for me, I still can't even fully describe it. It was almost like being in a lava lamp, inside a lava lamp, I think is probably the best way that I can describe it because everything had that flow and that playful, come in like a lava lamp. And I was on a train and I was riding through all these scenes. And then I was playing and I feel like David, our facilitator, was just like, your subconscious wants you to play more. It wants you to be creative, to do the things. And I remember like trying to set my intention. And he had told us, if you remember, he was like, sometimes you're just going to be so out of it that you just drop thoughts or drop questions into it. You're not trying to do a reset because you can't.
Yeah.
So you're just like, okay, so I'm just going to drop a question. And I think I had asked like, what am I supposed to be doing? Like, what am I, what's my purpose? And then I heard a voice say, what do you want to do? And I was like, I don't know. And then I went back down the hole and David was like, well, that was an answer. That was an answer because it was asking you what you wanted to do because you are the creator of your own reality. Like that. And I was like, oh, yeah, that actually really makes sense.
Yeah. Yes. Oh my God.
I
It's
loved it.
giving me
Yeah,
chills.
I
No, it was
know. It was
deep.
so
It was
good.
deep. I remember when I did feel, when I was flowing, when I was in the flow, I, I was seeing all these different atmospheres from all these different times and these ancient like cultures. And I remember I saw this huge woman, God. It was like Buddha, but it was a woman. And it's
Yeah.
sitting, and then I was like, oh, I need to bow to her. Remember? I was like,
I remember you talking
literally
about that.
took my
Yes.
hands and I bowed to her because it was like she was a god, and I was passing through this ancient place and I was like, oh wow, bowing, going back to this other place. And it was very flowy and interesting. And it was crazy because all while this is happening, they're reading what's going on with your brains, right? So they're on the outside, they're recording all your brain activity that's happening. And I remember there was a point in my journey where, my ex-partner had dropped into the pod where I was at, and it was just there. And his experience, he had the same thing happen where he saw me within his journey. And then both of
Yes. I
our
remember that.
hands, yeah, had that crazy flip there. So what is that? What do you think that is?
I just think that we're all connected,
Mhm.
probably more than we even realize. And I don't know what the ketamine does, if it just relaxes you. But remember, they told some stories about some other people where that same kind of crazy stuff happened where you connect.
You
And
connect.
I feel like we're all connected anyway. It's just
Mhm.
we live so separate
Yes.
that this kind of puts us closer to our truer self where we connect and we love and we just flow. I mean, like I feel like that's what it is. I
Mhm.
don't know that like from a scientific point, but I do feel like when you get closer to self, you get so much more connected, which
Yeah.
is probably why we do all these block, removals, while we're doing all the forgiveness work and the gratitude
Right. To
is
be more
to connect.
connected. Yes.
Yeah,
To be more
to connect.
connected. That's what it's all about, Amy, is connection. Deep connection.
Yes.
What else are we doing on this planet if we're not connecting with each other? What is the point? What's
Right.
the point? I don't know.
It's all you need is love. I mean, I feel like that's really, there's so much truth behind that. And I think at the core,
Mhm.
like this all kind of, that's what I could see it in your face. I could see it in your demeanor by the end of the week. I told you that. I was like, you look so much lighter.
Yeah.
Like I can see it like physically
Yes.
in you. And I feel like that was kind of with all of us. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
you're connected and you're at peace and you're just so much more down to that core where you're connected to God or your source and you're like, I can rest here.
Absolutely, Amy. And you know what? I had literally maybe a month after we left there or two, my whole life literally broke open in half, turned upside down, and everything freaking changed. And my nervous system was able to handle what I was taking and what was happening in my life. And it was just like, bow, 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 bow. I was getting beat up. I still am. I still am. But I really feel like this program helped give me the strength that I needed,
So,
the
yeah.
calmness and the tools that I needed to be able to make it through what I'm going through, one of the biggest fights of my life. So
Yeah.
I'm incredibly thankful for it because my reactions are smaller. My reactions are smaller, and that has been so important because all you want to do when things happen to you and you're feeling like you're being attacked is you want to fight. You just want to fight. You want to like, but in certain ways you can't do that. It's not appropriate. So I feel like 40 years really gave me that stability that I needed to go through things in life that just rip you open?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think such a big part of that is like, it's not about becoming something, it's about realizing who you already are.
Mhm.
Like, it's not like you were learning resilience or you were learning how to be this, different person. Like,
Mhm.
you already are that person. And this is just exposing, it's just revealing it. It's just helping you reveal your true self. It's already there within you. I mean, just like what I said before, like once you get out of that lack mindset, like I'm lacking this and I need to do all these things to become this. No, 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 no. You're doing this so that you can get back to your authentic self, the thing that you already are. You already are all of these things. You're resilient, you're abundant, you're love, you're peace. And so I do, again, I just feel like it's giving us the tools to just get back home. Really.
Yes, absolutely. We're unlimited. We are
unlimited. Yes, absolutely.
We go through life and you know, we get taught that we're not unlimited, that everything has limits and bounds and boundaries. And it's like we get just put in boxes, you know, and then told this is the box where you need to live and you cannot punch your way out. You can't jump out of it. You can't go nowhere. This is how it is. But then you realize, wait a minute, let me stick a piggy toe out there because it's magical once you can get out that box. I mean, you can literally manifest your reality. You can learn to control your triggers, control your emotions, and bring forth towards you what is divinely meant for you, which always feels good, you know? And you know what, Amy, you know what I've realized? I'm going through one of the biggest fights of my life, right? One of the biggest storms of my life I'm going through right now. But what I'm realizing is that I'm more able to see gifts out of every single situation that's quote unquote negative, you know, because it's all divine. It's all in your plan, it's all in God's plan.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all like when you frame it, I was listening to someone, and I don't know who it was, but I wish I could remember. But it was like, you know, if you see everything as an opportunity, then it becomes a different mindset. I mean, I've got this thing coming up and it's super stressful. And I was like, you know what? It's an opportunity. I'm not going to stress about it. I've got this. And regardless of what happens, because I don't think that this is something where you're like, nothing bad is ever going to happen to me again. That's not really the way that it works. But what it does do is it changes how you react. So it's not what happens to you. It's what happens within you for how you react to what happens to you.
Boom. That's it. That's it. Yes.
Yeah.
Have other people noticed your shift, Amy? Have other people been like, wow, you're so different?
Well, they tease me. I mean, you know, they're just like, oh gosh, Amy on her, like, you know, Jesus train, or, you know, the kingdom is within you, you're manifesting. But I do think that they're like, because it just seems to be, it's a lot of woo-woo, I guess. But, you know, when you start believing that you have intention and your intention really does create your reality, it shifts and it really does. Things just happen. Things fall into place. People call, opportunities arise. It's just that kind of thing. You just can't make it up. I mean, there's too many, you know, it's whatever I put my intention to, and then it seems within the next day or two, then, you know, oh, of course, you're going to tell me about, you know, this financial opportunity. Yeah, that makes sense.
Right.
It's great. And it's so much easier to express gratitude when you know that you're in control. I feel like people live their lives as victims because they don't feel like they're in control. And so you're never going to get out of that rut. You're never going to change your mind whenever you live that way. Mm-hmm. I think I had shared this with you guys in the deal, but the verse in the Bible, repent for the kingdom of heaven is within you or near. Mm-hmm. And the word repent in Greek is metanoia, which actually translates to transform your mind. So it was actually a really bad translation. And so it should read, transform your mind, the kingdom of heaven is within you. And I think there's so many people that are asleep. And if they would just wake up to that one thing, you have the power. It was God-given. It's yours. Like, you can live as a victim. It's your choice. We are all creators, whether we intend to or not. It's just being intentional about what you're creating. Exactly. You can create a bunch of crap for yourself. You know, you can create your own hell on earth if you want. Mm-hmm. So I feel like that is, that's the key.
Yes. Oh my God, Amy, that was so good. So good. And you know, it It's about embodying your higher self. That's what I try to do every single day. I pray, and then I get up and I'm like, I try to say, hey, I'm just going to embody my higher self, and what would my higher self do, and how would my higher self respond in all of these different challenges that I'm going through. And you know what? If you really take that moment before you respond to something, just that moment between the stimulus and response, then you can have your higher self creep in and decide for you, hey, this is the appropriate response, or this is what is help push you along on your journey, you know? So I mean, I know that going through everything that we did there really created that space to be able to show responses. Yeah.
Yes. I loved it.
And you know what? It's like, I didn't want to leave. When it was over, I was like, oh my God, we got to go back to normal. And it was hard to me because, you know, I could have probably been gone there for a month. I mean, it was just amazing.
Yes. And the cool thing is I was talking to David about it, and he was like, I'm going to go back probably in the fall, just depends on the timing. But, you know, he was like, you'll do some more alpha work. And I was like, I really thought, David, that we would kind of get it more into this, like, limitless, like, you know, what can you do? Like, what can't you do? Honestly. And he said, well, that honestly is kind of the goal, but you've got to get rid of all of this crap before you can really get to that place. So we work on forgiveness, and we work on gratitude, and we work on all of the things that you need to do to be more in touch with that authentic self, so that you can start to just, you know, live out of that place, which is exciting.
Yes, no, that's what the shadow work is about. Shadow work is about stripping away those layers of protection that you've built over time from all the trauma, all the pain, all the stress, all the betrayal. And you're building up these walls. And so you have to rip down the walls so you can get back into who you really are, because you start to align with your walls. And that's not who you really are. You are behind what's behind those walls. So in order to heal, and in order to, you know, really create from that divine place where you're talking about, you have to be able to strip the walls down. And how do you do that? Forgiveness work, shadow work. I mean, it's all the shadow work. You have to.
Yes.
Have to. Yeah. And then once you bring all those walls down, it's like, whoa, you know, you can create your reality in moments in time. And I've literally created and I manifested a bird pooping on my head, and literally it happened 30 seconds later in Egypt. I sat on bird poop, and I was like, oh my God, this is so annoying. The only thing worse than this would be if a bird pooped on my head. Literally 20 seconds later, pop. I was like, oh my God.
Of course.
Yes. But we are the creators. We are. So, I mean, just deep. And a place like 40 years is a place where you can just rip off so many different walls and just bring down so many different armors. Just, you know, it's incredible.
It's really about identity, right? It's about, like, what have you identified with all of your life that is not good? I mean, for me, it was a lot of religious, like, shame and trying to be this perfect idea that I was never going to be or to live up to. And it's exhausting. Yeah. And then when you get to this place where you're like, God is within me and I don't have to be anything. I already am. Like the great I am. It's within you. Then it's like, it's a game changer. And this is just helping you get back to that identity so you can live out of it, which is abundant life.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Did you, while you were in deep meditation, Amy, did you get any profound messages or serious just aha moments when you were in deep meditation?
Well, I mean, that one with my dad definitely was, I feel like, my mom died about 10 years ago, and working through some of that with her was, just letting go all of that sorrow and grief. It's not always anger, you know, sometimes it's just emotion. Shoulda, coulda, woulda. And like, you know, I should have done this before she died. And it's a lot of letting go. I feel like that was a lot of my profound, like, I'm going to send this down the river now. I'm okay.
Yes.
I'm trying to think of some like specific examples, but I feel like the crux of it was a lot of letting go, like a lot of just, I'm going to finally like lay this down. It's not mine anymore to carry.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Oh my God. I can't wait to go back. And I know that you want to go back. I hope we can get back together, Amy.
Yes.
Man, this experience, it was beautiful going through with you, seriously. And I'm not even a social butterfly like that. I'm really embarrassed to talk about my stuff in front of people. But that's one of the things, they hold you accountable. You have to talk about it in front of your little group and with your facilitator.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's like you're naked. It's like you're sitting there naked.
Yeah. And the great thing is it's small. It's not like you're in a group of 20 people. It's just a small little group. So I feel like, you know, the respectful, I think, by keeping it small, but it does hold you accountable. I mean, like you're not going to just sit in a room and by yourself and do this. Like someone is going to hear this. And he did talk about that. He was like, it's so much more powerful when someone hears what you say. So yeah,
it was very, very, very powerful. And I really have seen how it's shown up for me and just my reactions to things, because to be honest, I think that's why God led me there, that when he led me there, because it was like I was not going to do it for some months. So it's something inside of me was like, go now. And I'm so grateful because
I'm so grateful you listened to yourself, right? It's like when we start listening, like the universe has a lot to say. I mean, it's like seek and you shall find. You just have to start looking, and then it's like these little instances happen and you meet someone by chance, or you decided to go last minute and you needed this because of what is going on now. It's like everything is working for your good. You just have to believe it.
Yes. That part, Amy, that is everything. You have to believe it. This is my mantra: move from fear to faith, move from fear to faith, because everything I know in my heart and soul, Amy, everything is happening for my highest good and for your highest good and for whoever's highest good. So all of the big storms that we go through in life are for our highest good. And we might not be able to see it in time during the storm, but afterwards, I mean, when you look at all your storms you've ever went through in life, it's like, whoa, man, I'm so grateful for all of them.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think so?
Like it made me a different person. You know, I went through a terrible breakup. I was like at the bottom of the bottom, but I feel like that was where I was like, I need to figure out who I am, because I had relied on so many other people to validate me. Yeah. And once I lost all of that and it was all stripped away, I think that was the beginning of me saying, okay, what is this all about? Like I really figured out who I was. And I don't know that it ever would have happened had I not ended up on the floor of the basement of my soul going, this sucks. Mm-hmm. Like I need to figure this out. And then, you know, seek and you shall find. And you start looking and God will put people and things in your life. And it's like, it just happens. But you have to, but it's the intention, you know, you have to want it. You have to set the intention or the idea that I am looking. You have to seek to find.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Amy. I mean, you get it. You're so wise too. And you know, it's really, it's crazy because you grew up in a Christian church, right? You were pretty religious growing up all the way through for a while. Yeah. Because you had a lot of work to do through that. I mean, how did you differentiate? Like, how did you become how you are being raised so Christian and deep into religion? I mean, you talk about manifestation and, you know, I mean, how did you get there?
Yeah. You know, it's funny because that's probably like within the last 2 or 3 years for me, but that was like when I started all of this journey. And I think I just put down the religious context of you have to be this for God to love you. You have to go to church every Sunday. And did you tithe? And did you use the F word? Or whatever it may be that you think you're checking a box. For me, I believe in Jesus. And so I came to the realization there is not a single thing that I can do or not do that's going to keep me out of heaven, because it was more about God becoming human through Jesus so that we could become divine. And that is the crux of it. And it's not about all this other stuff. And once I laid down all of that religious baggage, then I was like, okay, I can get into this, because before it was just all fear-based. I just didn't want to go to hell. And it's not that. So I'm the most unreligious Christian probably that you've ever met, if that makes sense, because I just threw all that other crap away. I think it's a means to control, and I just have a lot of feelings about that. But I still believe the very basis that God is for us. He came to earth as a human so that humans could then become divine. And that's what we're all kind of working through. When you wake up, when you become, this enlightened. And that's why I have a lot of grace for people who feel more comfortable calling it source or, universe or whatever, because everyone's on their own journey. And this is all about love. And I feel like that's also kind of where Christianity got it wrong. It was like, oh, it's our way or the highway. And, do you have instruments in your church service or whatever their little rules are? I mean, there's so many factions and there's so much brokenness in it. And it's just, how can you get to unity, and how can you get to that connected with source when there's just 5 million other things going on? So that was kind of my journey.
I mean, it's amazing, Amy. And you know what? You're so wise and open. And, I'm just so grateful that we had the chance to go through the program together. And I really hope that we can go through it again, because I'm so comfortable with you. And it was such a good experience. I just wanted to be the same.
I know. I was thinking about that. I was like, if we go through the same, I wonder if we'll get to be in the same group. Or if I'll be like, no, you got to go talk to someone else. I'm like, no.
I know, right?
I know her.
Exactly. No, I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see, because I know that they have steps to the program and levels. So I want to get to level 5. I want to go through the program 5 times and see where I'm at, because then I'll be able to get solid matter out of air, and I'll be like, and I'll be creating stuff with my hands.
Exactly. That was, I was like, if Jesus can walk on water, like, I'm going to try it in my pool. I'm ready.
I know. That's so funny. Well, Amy, during my show, I asked all of our guests I ask a random question that some of my viewers and listeners have sent in. So there's question number 1, 2, or 3. So pick out whatever number that you want to pick, and we'll both have to answer that question.
Okay. So I just choose a number?
Yes.
Okay. 3 it is.
Okay. So this is 3. Let's see here. It is. Oh, this is deep. Okay. 2 pieces of advice you would give your younger self. You go.
Oh, probably to learn to love yourself as quick as you can. I feel like the sooner you can love yourself, then the better it gets. 2 pieces.
Yes.
The other is, it's going to be okay. Like, no matter what, it's going to be okay.
Yes. That's crazy, because Amy, those are the words that were going to come out of my mouth. So guys, my first piece of advice would be, it's going to be okay. And everything is happening for you, not to you, but for you.
Yes.
You can get to the place where you need to be in life. And second piece of advice, I would say, take the punches and just be graceful. It's okay, because you're going to be okay. So just the messages are, you're going to be okay.
That is a great message too.
Yes, it is. It is. Amy, do you have anything else to tell anybody, or do you want to tell people where they can find you? Just any messages for our listeners?
I mean, I'm on Instagram, so I don't really get on social media a ton, but if you have the means to do 40 years of Zen, I would encourage it. But if you don't, literally just set your intention, what you want to find, seek, whatever, and you will start finding it. You will start finding people and places and meditations and books. Um, Dr. Carolyn Leaf writes a great book, How to Switch On Your Brain. And she talks about all of this rewiring your brain. So if anyone wants to reach out to me and like ask for some resources, I'm happy to give you mine. But there's tons out there and it's your journey. So I feel like just trust the process.
Amy, so good. So good. And thank you so much for coming on my show.
Of course.
And I would love to have you back. You are such a world of information and so, so wise. So thank you for spending this hour with me today. I appreciate you.
Maybe we can do another one after we do our level 2, 40 years. That would be amazing.
Yes, I can't wait. I can't wait. All right, guys, until the next show, thank you so much for listening. And Amy, it was a pleasure. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
This podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. The views expressed are those of the hosts and guests and don't necessarily reflect those of the producers or affiliates. We do not guarantee the accuracy of the content. Please verify information and seek professional advice when needed. By listening, you agree not to hold us liable for any actions taken based on this content. Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you enjoy the episodes ahead. Love unlimited, feel unlimited.